Good morning, viewers. It's Tuesday morning, March 4, 2025, and I'm your host, Sunil Thakker, Sunny Talks Money. Welcome to ST Money's 7 a.m. early morning news, where we provide you the latest, concise, and precise stock market wrap with accurate figures and numbers. Wall Street's main stock indexes closed sharply lower on Monday after President Donald Trump announced the start of 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico, with the S&P 500 posting its biggest daily percentage decline since December 18, 2024. US stocks tumbled after President Trump confirmed that he would impose a 25% levy on Canadian and Mexican goods due to come into effect today. The tariffs on Canada and Mexico are slated to start on Tuesday. Hours ahead of the deadline, Trump dashed investors' hope for a last minute reprieve, telling reporters there was no room left for negotiations. He said the North American countries, that is Canada and Mexico, had no room left to avert the tariffs. Stocks had already slipped after an ISMI survey, and they extended losses after Trump said 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico will go into effect on Tuesday, with reciprocal tariffs starting on April 2. The ISM survey showed manufacturing PMI slipped to 50.3 last month from 50.9 in January, while the forward-looking new orders index contracted to 48.6 in February from 55.1 in January. The dip in the PMI mirrored declines in other sentiment measures as investors worried about tariffs. New data released on Monday morning showed US manufacturer supply costs jumped in February as Trump's tariff threats raised the specter of higher inflation. Is just more of a continuation of a string of bad economic news that tends to put a little bit of dampener on the optimism that was seen from the fourth quarter earnings that were getting released, which were pretty good. The technology heavy Nasdaq Composite slid 2.64% or 497 points to 18,350, leading declines among the three major indexes. After Monday's decline, the Nasdaq was down about 9% from its record closing high in December last year. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 650 points or 1.48% to 43,191, and the S&P 500 lost 105 points or 1.76% to 5,849. A gauge of the Magnificent Seven shares sank 3.1%. The Russell 2000 lost 2.8%. Energy and technology sectors led declines among the S&P 500's 11 sectors. Defensive sectors such as real estate, healthcare, utilities, and consumer staples finished higher. Some of the biggest gainers were defense stocks, which surged after region leaders topped up military spending. European governments are scrambling to put together a Ukraine-Russia peace plan in the wake of Trump's rancorous meeting with Ukraine's president on Friday. Recent reports of softening consumer demand have spurred fears of an economic slowdown and high inflation. Trump is also expected on Tuesday to raise fentanyl related tariffs on Chinese imports to 20% from 10% currently, unless Beijing ends fentanyl trafficking into the US. US listed shares of Chinese companies fell, with NEO tumbling 8.6% and JD.com dropping nearly 4%. Worries about sticky inflation have made the Federal Reserve more cautious on interest rate cuts, but this week's employment and business activity data could change the central bank's view. Traders have been betting on at least two interest rate cuts of 25 basis points each from Feb by December, according to data compiled by the London Stock Exchange. Tesla erased early gains and ended down 2.84%. Morgan Stanley had reinstated the stock as top pick among US autos. Chip maker Intel closed lower by 4%, erasing gains that came in early trade after a report that chip designers Nvidia and Broadcom were running manufacturing tests with the company. Most mega cap growth sectors ended down, including chip giant Nvidia, which was down 8.7% at close. Amazon closed down 3.4%. The CBOE volatility index, known as Wall Street's fear gauge, rose as high as 24.31 points, touching its highest since December 20. In Monday's other session, benchmark 10-year Treasury yields fell to 4.178%. On Friday, yields settled at 4.228% after their steepest one-month decline in more than a year. The US dollar weakened against the euro and the UK pound. Bitcoin retreated to around $86,000, raising most of its gains from a Sunday rally prompted by Trump's comments on creating a US strategic crypto reserve. In commodities, West Texas Intermediate crude fell 2.1% to $68.30 a barrel. Spot gold rose 1.2% to $2,890 an ounce. Key events this week. Today, President Donald Trump's speech to a joint session of Congress. And tomorrow is US ADP employment, ISM services index, factory orders, and the Fed's beige book. While on Thursday, you have US trade, initial jobless claims, wholesale inventories, and on Friday to finish the week, you have US jobs report, and also the Fed Chair Jerome Powell gives keynote speech at an event in New York hosted by University of Chicago Booth School of Business. And that's it for today, my dear friends. I will see you again tomorrow morning. In the meantime, please do like, subscribe, and share this video as much as possible. Happy investing, stay inspired, and remember, it is all about money.